welcome to Treasury Notes, a show dedicated to the latest news and information from the office of West Virginia State Treasurer John Perdue. I'm your host, Gina Long. As we say goodbye to summer and the kids get back into the daily grind at school, education is once again on the minds of teachers and parents. State Treasurer John Perdue has a commitment to education that is unparalleled. The Treasurer launched the Net Worth program to teach financial literacy at all grade levels around the state. He also started the Smart 529 College Savings Program, which has grown into a $1 billion program over the years. Coming up on today's show, we'll talk with Treasurer Perdue about a new partnership with the Smart 529 and the You Promised Rewards program that will help people earn money for college. We'll also talk about the Treasurer's nationally recognized Net Worth program. And a new Assistant Treasurer, Ellis, will join us for the discussion that's coming up a little later in the program. But first, this summer proved to be a big success as the Treasurer's staff helped spread the word about some of our programs. At the West Virginia State Fair in Greenbrier County, hundreds of people stopped by the Treasurer's booth for more information on unclaimed property, college savings, and other initiatives. Here's more from the event.
I've been coming to the State Fair since I was a little boy in 4-H, you know, and FFA.
State Treasurer John Perdue is an established fixture at the State Fair of West Virginia.
How you doing, young man? How are you today? John Perdue, the State Treasurer.
Every year, Treasurer Perdue greets people at his booth in the West Virginia building. It's a time-honored tradition Perdue says he cherishes.
It's a great place to come in the summer, meet old friends around the state, get to know some new people, and it's just a great place to be.
Thanks to his commitment to technology, the Treasurer's displays and interactive programs at the fair have changed over the years. It is now a state-of-the-art exhibit, but the Treasurer says his mission at the fair always remains the same.
We can showcase what this office does, but we also can educate the public on a lot of what's going on in state government that they don't really realize that the State Treasurer's office takes care of, whether it's unclaimed property, whether it's a college savings program, whether it's the banking process of state government. We do so much in the State Treasurer's office, and I'm very proud of what my staff's done.
One of the main attractions at the State Fair is the unclaimed property booth. Fairgoers can look for lost money and property just by typing their name.
We find people all the time unclaimed property here at the State Fair, and it's exciting to see somebody look their name up and say, oh, that's my uncle, or that's my aunt, or that's my dad. We're pushing $100 million in returning money to the people of West Virginia, their money that they misplaced or their loved ones misplaced.
Another initiative is educating people about the Smart 529 College Savings Program, the West Virginia Retirement Plus program, and many other unique features of the office. Treasurer Perdue says he welcomes the opportunity and looks forward to it again next year. As you just heard, people at the fair have the opportunity to learn more about the Smart 529 College Savings Plan. In fact, children of all ages participated in a new activity this year, the Hunt for College Savings. And they uncovered a treasure trove of information. Here's more from them.
And you just get this punched and bring it back.
Armed with a map, West Virginia State Treasurer John Perdue unveiled the Hunt for College Savings at this year's State Fair. The goal of the activity is for students to learn more about saving for higher education through the Smart 529 College Savings Program.
I really believe in college education is what will open up the doors of opportunity for our children in West Virginia and our grandchildren. And so when we started the Smart 529 program, we started it with those parents and grandparents in mind to get them to start saving for that kid's education at a very young age and give them an opportunity to go to college or to have an opportunity to go to college and change their lives, and that's what it's all about.
Treasurer Perdue helped some of the children navigate their way through to find each information station. The kids then punched holes on their maps to document their success. The children also have the chance to win several prizes, including the grand prize of an iPod each day, but there are also other benefits to the challenge.
They get to go around and see part of the fair and learn a little bit about that and learn a little bit about the educational process.
And this year, students and their parents are also learning about a new partnership partnership between Smart 529 and You Promise, which offers money and rewards for everyday spending.
A lot of the products they're already buying at the grocery store or buying online can go to help with their grandchild or their child's college education.
Treasurer Perdue says he hopes the new partnership will take the Smart 529 program to the next level. To find out more about Smart 529 and the new partnership with You Promise Rewards, log on to our website at www.wvtreasury.com. And you can also go to our website for many more activities that the Treasurer's Office has planned. Of course, we had a great time at this year's State Fair. We look forward to next year. When we come back, we'll sit down with State Treasurer John Perdue and Assistant Treasurer Danny Ellis to talk more about college savings and other programs offered by the Treasurer's Office. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We find all kinds of items, and that becomes unclaimed property, and it mounts into millions of dollars. It could be stock, it could be CDs, but it could also be a diamond ring or a gold watch of your dad's. We returned over $50 million to the people of West Virginia. I'm proud of that. You can go on our website, you can look at the names and see if your name's on there or someone that you recognize. We set the standards in the nation in returning unclaimed property.
Welcome back to Treasury Notes, a show designed to update you on the latest news and information from the office of West Virginia State Treasurer John Perdue. I'm your host, Gina Long. The Treasurer's Office has a strong commitment to the public. As the bank of state government, the Treasurer manages more than $13 billion of state money annually. But in addition to those duties, the Treasurer also prides himself on promoting education. And here to talk more about our education initiatives and our college savings programs are West Virginia State Treasurer John Perdue and his new assistant, Danny Ellis. Thank you both, gentlemen, for being here today. And Danny, welcome to the team.
Thank you.
All right, Treasurer, well, you brought Assistant Treasurer Ellis here on board to help with many of the tasks of the Treasurer's Office. So how is he going to help you in that position?
Well, you know, anytime you're in an elected office you have to have a good right arm. And Danny is a good right arm. I mean, I searched hard to find another assistant after my assistant retired. And, you know, Danny comes with great qualifications because the Treasurer's Office manages $13 billion, as you said, Gina. And we also manage about $4.2 billion in investments in the Board of Treasury Investments. And we also have the operational funds of state government, and where we have to deal with agencies after agencies in writing checks or processing money electronically, which we love to do because it saves money. But you have to cross the T's and dot the I's when you're dealing with billions of dollars. And Danny brings a lot of expertise in that because he's worked in the private sector as well as in government himself for many years here in the Department of Highways, and I'm just happy to have Danny on board and know I've got a good right arm looking after me as I travel the state of West Virginia.
And I'm sure you're excited to be here as well.
Absolutely, and I've had people over the last 6 months ask me to draw comparisons on where I came from. You know, I had been with the Department of Transportation nearly, I think, going on 14 years, where I had served as the acting cabinet secretary and also their chief financial officer. So, you know, both offices have their similarities, and you know, when you're dealing with people, as that guy said, money is money. You know, so if you come out of $1 billion organization, a $2 billion organization, or a $14 billion organization, it's you know, they all have their challenges, and I'm looking forward to the challenges with the Treasurer's Office, and I really appreciate the opportunity of being here.
One of the main reasons we're here today is to talk about some of your education initiatives. And I know when you first took office back in 1997, you really decided that that was going to be a priority for the Treasurer's Office. Why was it so important to you, and why did you go in that direction?
Well, I soon learned when I became state treasurer that many of our kids were graduating from high school, couldn't even balance a checkbook. They didn't understand what interest on a loan was all about when they got out in the real world. They were going to college, and one of the first things they were getting was a credit card, and they were getting their first foot in the grave of bankruptcy. They were getting a student loan as well as a credit card, and they didn't exactly know how to use that credit card, and so they were getting in credit card debt. And so I realized we had to have a cornerstone in education, mainly because I knew education is what opened the doors of opportunity up for me in my life. And I wanted to have other kids around the state of West Virginia have that opportunity as well. And so we started looking at what we could do there. So we started a college savings program, the Smart 529 College Savings Program. And I don't think anyone ever dreamed it would be $1 billion program, over $1 billion in that program now. And I'm very proud of that program. And I'm proud of the West Virginians that are investing in their children and grandchildren's education to make a difference in their life, because they are the future of West Virginia, our children.
And Danny, I know you come from a financial background, but you really can't argue with the fact that education is so important to get to where you need to be in today's world.
Well, there's no question about it. You know, as we was laughing a little bit earlier, we came from maybe out of a little different era, and certainly having a granddaughter now, that just started into kindergarten last week. Years ago, you would think of college, it was an optional thing. Well, it's not optional anymore. And I think with what the Treasurer Perdue has been able to do and what he continues to do, it's to really enlighten and people's awareness to the opportunities of saving some money, to put it aside to make sure that my granddaughter and my grandkids are going to be able to afford to go to college.
Absolutely. We were saying that we were paying back on student loans. Now children have the opportunity to start saving at a young age, and their parents have the opportunity to really start investing in their child's education. And I think that's a key word, investing in an education. Why does that ring true, Treasurer, that the word invest is so important in this whole scenario?
Because you're investing in the future of West Virginia. But what's a good part about that investment is you're getting a dollar for dollar tax break on your state income tax for investing in the Smart 529 plan. You never have to pay any taxes on that money because it's deferred on the federal level, and so you never have to worry about your money being lost, so to speak. And you're investing in something that is for the future of our great state and the future of your child or grandchild. I'm very proud of what we do in the Smart 529 plan. A 5-star rated program, one of the best in the country. That's something that we can be proud of in the state of West Virginia. It is a cornerstone in the Treasurer's office, and I'm going to continue, as long as I'm Treasurer, to try to make it better and better for the taxpayers of this state and for the people that's going to invest in their kids' and grandkids' future.
And there are a lot of options for people who want to invest in a Smart 529. I get a lot of questions when I'm out meeting people. Do I have to go to an in-state school? I think a lot of people think that when you talk about a Smart 529 and West Virginia's program, that they're limited, but there are a lot of options.
Well, absolutely. The flexibility of the program, that's one of the great pluses, too, of this program, because you can move the money from child to child. You can go anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world to school. We'd love for you to go to West Virginia schools, but if your child decides to go out of state to school, you don't lose any money whatsoever. You still have that money to apply for the college education for that child. And so the flexibility of the program is so good for West Virginia that it makes us stand out from the other states. And so, I challenge West Virginians all the time. If you can find a better program, buy it. Because you can go online to our website, and you can look at the Smart 529 plan, and you can invest in that yourself. It's an age-based program. Age-based means that that investment you're talking about is a little higher when you first start out at birth, and as the child gets older and older and gets ready to go to college, it gets more and more to fixed incomes, and you're more unlikely not to lose any money, and you're going to have a nice little nest egg there set aside to be able to send your child or your grandchild to college.
And it's easy to get started, right?
Absolutely. I think for a little, maybe $50 a month, it's a bargain any way you slice it.
And another big benefit to this plan is that it's compatible with other types of grants or scholarships. A lot of people here in West Virginia know about the Promise Scholarship, and a lot of kids strive to get that scholarship. But it is compatible with that, and people can still use the Smart 529 money.
Well, absolutely, and I encourage people all the time, I encourage kids all the time, you want to strive to get the Promise Scholarship. It's kind of like a free money for your parents to be able to invest in your education. So it's based up upon your grades. It's another tool in the toolbox, so to speak, for educational future. But the point is this: if you get that promise, you can still use the Smart 529 plan to pay for other college expenses such as room and board and computers and all the other different expenses you're going to have for college, while the promise goes for tuition. And so the investment, you're not going to lose on the investment. The flexibility, if money's left over, you can move it to child, or you may decide to go get a master's or continue your education in later life, and the money will always be there for you.
And gentlemen, now we have something very exciting that's being unveiled this month. Smart 529 is now partnering with You Promise. It's a reward system that helps customers turn everyday spending into cash for college. Can't argue with that. Can you kind of explain how this works?
Yeah, I have, you basically, you're taking your credit card, your debit card, you're signing up with a You Promise, and there are so many, and I'll call vendors throughout the state, when you go and you buy you take care of your normal course of business, you buy your groceries, you buy your fuel. This money can be used, once you use your credit card, you've signed up with the You Promise, this additional money can be transferred over into the 529 and used for, to continue your education. And I did have, I told the treasurer one day last week, I had stopped, coming into work early one morning, and I had stopped to fill up with gas. And one of the first things that really jumped out at me was I noticed a You Promise sticker that was there at that particular place of business. So, I think that was pretty thought intriguing, and I know a lot of people are going to say that, hey, so what is this? And again, I think this is something else that's going to be very successful. I think a lot of young kids are going to benefit from the You Promise.
Well, I think some of the exciting things are for people who have a Smart 529, now they can sign up for You Promise, start getting those rewards. Right. For people who have You Promise here in the state, and there are quite a few people, they can now hook up a Smart 529 account with all those rewards that they have stashed. And for someone who's looking to get started, they can sign up for both programs, and it's really a win-win situation.
Absolutely. It's a win-win, like you just said, and it's going to strengthen the 529 plan because it's going to be more recognized with You Promise out there, the gas stations that Danny just talked about, the grocery store, online buying, so many things you do in your daily lives. You're going to be able to invest in a Smart 529 plan through You Promise, and we're going to go hand in hand. And I really am excited about this program because I really believe it's going to really get our message out in a lot of the rural areas of the state and all over the state to really make their Smart 529 maybe that $2 billion program instead of a $1 billion program, and that excites me.
We would definitely like to see that happen, that's for sure. And I know we saw earlier that you were at this state fair really just getting out there and starting to talk to people about this. We also had the Hunt for College Savings, which was a real success at the fair this year. And those students and their parents were starting to learn more about Smart 529 and this brand new partnership with You Promise. I know I was talking with some parents who said, I cannot wait. I've been waiting for West Virginia to hook up with You Promise because we have this account. We have several $100s saved up from rewards in You Promise that they can now put into their Smart 529. And I think West Virginia is like the 11th state maybe that's doing this partnership, so it's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, we're the 11th state. I wish we'd been a little higher, but I'm excited, like I said, and it was an exciting time at the state fair to see so many young people coming through your booth and educating them on the opportunity to get in a Smart 529 plan, and then making them, and then they realize real fast, well, I'm in You Promise. Well, yeah, I'm already saving. I can get in this for $50 for the Smart 529 plan. They get excited. And I'm really excited about this partnership that we're going to have with You Promise and the Smart 529 program. I really believe it's going to be a home run for the state of West Virginia, and we're going to be able to reach out and touch a lot of people's grandchildren and their children to invest in their future. And I soon realized at the state fair that's true, and so I'm really excited.
And I think that you touched on something really important, Danny, that this is money you can be putting back from just things you do every day.
Absolutely.
Already.
So many kids, and we can look back at our own experience on when you grow up. I was the last of 11 children. you know, some of us provided basically our own way to go on to college. But you know, as we said earlier, it was a different time and different thought process then. But it's kind of exciting when you look out and in your day-to-day operation, whether whether you're buying fuel, whether you're buying groceries, every time you make that purchase, once you've signed up for the You Promise, you use those credit cards or those debit cards, you're making it just a little bit easier. You know, like I said, for your grandchild or your child, you've made it just a little easier. You know, that's a burden, you know, that they don't have to worry about having to provide their own monies. And you know, it's so important. You know, like I said, having lived that, it is important to continue to have that mechanism to set that funding aside.
When you pay for college yourself, when you're paying back student loans, you really can appreciate the fact that it's time to invest at an early age instead of maybe later in life.
Absolutely.
And I tell Danny, you know, Danny has that grandchild that's got him wrapped around his little finger, you know, and he was 111. Well, trust me, he's already invested in that future, and that's what we need to do all over the state, because we're such a family-oriented state in the state of West Virginia, and you know, grandchildren are precious to those grandparents, and I tell them all the time, the best gift that you can leave for that grandchild is a Smart 529 college savings program. And Danny's already stepped up the plate, so we got him more in it pretty quick.
You know, again, we talk about back many years ago, it was kind of optional whether you were going to go to college, but now, you know, it's so necessary and so important, and again, it only reemphasizes the importance of being able to have that mechanism to set that funding aside.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, we're talking about higher education right now, but I want to switch gears just a little bit, continue talking about education, but now talking about financial education and educating kids at all grade levels about their finances and about how to really budget their lives. Treasurer, over the past several years, you've been unveiling the Net Worth program. And that's really happened in stages so that eventually we would be teaching financial education, as I said, at every grade level in every school around the state. This has really been a passion of yours and something that you take to heart, and I've seen you in the schools talking to these kids about the importance of financial education.
Well, absolutely. It's another cornerstone in the Treasurer's office, where I believe that if we start teaching financial education, starting at preschool all the way through senior high, and we even do it in the adults out here with Women and Money conferences. But the most important thing is reaching down at that early age and implementing in the classroom, working with the teachers with their lesson plans that they already have, implementing financial education and teaching it to our young generation, and they don't even know they're learning it at the time, but later on as they go through school, they pick it up and realize they have already been educated on balancing the checkbook, understand what the interest is on a loan's all about. They understand what a piggy bank's all about, to put money in it and take it and put it in a savings account. There is so much you can do in educating our future generations of this great state, and that's what these people are. They're the future of West Virginia, and I'm really proud of our Net Worth, a national winning program. For once now, people are looking at West Virginia. How did you implement that program in financial literacy, financial education, to teach it all the way through school? And I want to thank the State Board of Education and all the partners that have participated in that, because it takes a team to make it happen. And teachers are making it happen now in the state of West Virginia, and it is a fantastic program.
Treasurer, I can tell you're excited. And this must be an exciting time for you as well, Danny, because you're coming into this just really seeing this program kick into high gear.
Well, you know what, it's one of the things that jumps out at you, when you come into the Treasurer's office, and just looking at the different programs that he has been able to implement, and this is something he touched on earlier. I've been in and around the private and the public sector a long time, and since he's become treasurer, these things have been really highlighted. As he touched on the Women and Money program, all the way down into your elementary school level, of kids. This is something that we didn't talk about years ago, but he has certainly highlighted the importance of education, and I'm happy to see that this is reaching down to the lowest levels of our educational system, and just something that you're proud to be a part of.
Yeah, and obviously you said this is winning awards nationally. Just last year it won the Excellence in Financial Literacy for Education Award. That's something that just really has to make you proud. As you said, now other states are looking to West Virginia to see what we're doing.
Well, absolutely. They're looking at West Virginia, but you know what makes me proud the most? Yes, I'm proud, but it makes my staff very proud. I'm proud of my staff because they see the reward at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. All that hard work they put in to make this program work, and working with the teachers, to train the teachers. You know, we have to go out and train the teachers to be able to implement the programs in their lesson plans. They spend all summer doing that, preparing them for to go into fall to educate, and that is important as well. And so I have to give a lot to my staff and professional staff we put together in the Treasurer's office to really make a lot of these programs work.
And you've been out there and seen some of these kids participating in this program. We do one of the activities with the Net Worth program is the Get a Life game, where students get a card, they get a salary, they have their life mapped out, and then they go and they do their monthly budget, and they literally get to visit the doctor's office, the insurance company, go to the grocery store, and see how that money is going to be deducted from their budget. What's your reaction when you see these children go through this and realize some things for the first time?
Well, you know, the exciting part is like the Get a Life game is what it's all about, the real life when you get out in the real world. And it's a game, but it's a hands-on approach, and they get to see that. And first, they really realize real fast that this is not a game, this is what real life's all about. Because then they feel like, you know, I made that car purchase, and now I got to pay that loan payment, and now I didn't realize that the interest was on that. Now I can't, you know, I go to the doctor, he charged me, I thought it was free, and they charged me. Like a lot of kids go to the ATM machines with their parents and they think that money just comes out free. Well, that's not the way it works. And so they find out what real life's all about, and it's really changing lives because of the hands-on approach to the programs. And the exciting part about it is when I get letters from those children all over the state of West Virginia thanking me about changing their lives. I'm talking about those juniors and seniors. They're getting ready to go out in the real world down the road, or going ready to go to college. They say, I didn't fall into that trap, Mr. Treasurer, that credit card when I got to college, because I realized what it was going to cost me. Or I realized that car dealer was trying to sell me that used car that I couldn't afford it at that price, and you changed my life. And that's really beneficial to me. It makes me really feel good.
Here at Treasury Notes, we've talked a lot about the Net Worth program. And the cool thing about the Get a Life game is that students, we want to tell people that students can go back after maybe they start to become bankrupt. They can go back, get an education, and play the game over. And that makes a difference.
Absolutely. Big difference.
Just any final thoughts before we go right now, gentlemen, to just about the financial education aspect of this office and what it means to you?
It's basically just you listen to the treasurer's remarks and just thinking about, you know, the game of life in general. How many times have kids over the past had the opportunity, you know, to be exposed to going to the bank and opening up their bank account, going to the doctor on their own, you know, because these are things that you know what, it is part of life. That is life. And I think any time that you give some kids some early exposure to that, I think you've given them a tremendous advantage.
All right. Thank you again and welcome on board. And thank you, Treasurer, for joining us here today.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to have Danny, the Chief Financial Officer. I think you said CFO, and I want people to realize what a Chief Financial Officer really was, someone that could cross the T's and dot the I's and knew where the money was hid and what really happens with your money in the state bank, your bank, in the Treasurer's office.
Well, we appreciate you both being here. Thank you so much. And that wraps up today's show. Remember, you can always get the latest news, information, and events from the State Treasurer's office on our website at www.wvtreasury.com. And thanks to the West Virginia Library Commission for technical direction, keeping you informed on the Library Television Network. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Gina Long.